Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We are thrilled to have you all here with us to explore what new features have been implemented in the last development cycle. We have also the great lineup of speakers and topics planned for you. So, the agenda for today's webinar will focus on the new features. We will start by improvements we have made for our inspections presented by Peter Matejik, such as entity mapping. We will also continue with the Resco Platform new features with some demos presented by me, especially schedule board, tree view improvements and others. And we will finish the new additions to Resco Guides and Resco Cloud, which will be presented by Michal Magnusek. So the expectation and the goal of this webinar is to have the understanding of the new features and how they can benefit your work and your business. So let's begin with the first part presented by Peter Matejik.
Thank you, Edo. Hi, my name is Peter and I'm product manager here at Resco. Today I will talk about updates that we have made in Resco Inspections. So let's start with entity mapping. This functionality is available in Questionnaires and at this moment is in preview mode only. So what problems do we tackle with this new feature? Let's say we need to, or you have a customer who need to update existing records directly from Questionnaire. And this is exactly where this new feature come in. How to turn it on? First of all, you have to go to Woodford, and here on the top you have a button which you simply click and you turn this functionality on. After which there are icons on the right hand side where you can set up this data mapping for your individual questions. Once you click on this icon, wizard will appear, and this wizard will guide you through whole process of setting up this data mapping functionality. In this first step, you can choose between two types or two ways how you can link those questions. First would be regarding record, and second when you want to map this question to look up question type. So depending on your choice, in the first option would be when you want to map your question to regarding record. Here you have to set up your entity which you would like to link your questionnaire to. So first you can choose, let's say, account and then field which will be used to map your questions. And you can add here more scenarios. So if you will run this questionnaire from more places, you can set up here these entities which will be used. Second option would be lookup question. So in first step you choose your lookup question which will be used, and then field which you need to map your question to. The last step here is to set up how you want your data to be read and write. In the read option, you have here three choices. First would be when you want your questionnaire to read your data when it's created. Second, it's on create and on change, or you don't want to read this data at all. And the second part is to set up when your data will be written. So here you can choose on every save, on complete, and again never. I have here also a short demo in which I will demonstrate how you can use this functionality. So in this case I have technicians who visit customers to perform some on-site job and fill in questionnaires while doing so. So my goal in this case will be to check and update all phone numbers of my customers that I have recorded in the system. And this will be done by technicians while they fill in questionnaire. So while these technicians fill in this questionnaire, they check with customers if phone number that we have recorded in the system is still correct or not. So if it's not, they simply change phone number in questionnaire and save it. This will automatically update phone number that I have in the system. So let's start with setting up the questionnaire. I simply open questionnaires which I want to update. Then I have to turn on my new feature, data mapping. Just simply enable it. Here I choose that I want to map the records to my phone, and I know that it's from lookup question. Here I choose that it's on site. This is mapped to account. Here I know that I have to choose telephone 1. Just simply go next. And I want to read this data on create and write it back on save. So this would be basically it. The only thing I have to do is to save this questionnaire. And okay, I just need to update, synchronize my app. And now let's see how it's in Dynamics. So here our adventure works with phone number 155 on the end. I open my questionnaire, I found the correct template, and here, okay, I visit Adventure Works and I see the phone number is ending 155, but I want to change it because it was wrong, so 158. I simply save it, and because I set it to change on save, I should have it updated in Dynamics. So, and you can see it was done immediately after refresh. So that was basically it. You see it was working pretty well. And now let's talk about another feature which will bring option to add buttons for repeatable groups. You know that we have there some buttons, but the problem there, which we heard from our customers, is that when the question group is too long, and when I want to add a new group, I have to scroll all the way up to press that plus button, which is there to replicate that group. So what we have done is that we bring in option to use a button, which was already there, with new feature to repeat group. So you can place this button anywhere you want in a questionnaire, and you can use it to repeat that group. So it will basically replicate the same function as you have with that plus button. But now you can place it anywhere you want on your questionnaire. And this is the plus button that was there before to repeat group. And now you have here this new option to repeat group also on the, let's say you can place it on the end of a repeatable group. So this will simplify the process of adding this new group within your questionnaire. Next update is related to our report editor. You know, we have mentioned this before. We are trying to get better experience within this tool, and now we are bringing some update also for it. So what problems are we trying to solve with it? We listened that, okay, it would be nice to have the same control for grid editor as is already available in Questionnaire Designer. It was like nice update that we have made, and people already recognized it and wanted us to bring in the same thing also for Report Designer. Another thing is that the properties or settings for properties were all over the place. It was hard to find them. And the last thing are tooltips. They were missing, but now we are bringing some updates for it. So first thing that we have addressed was grid editor. Now you can use the same one that was available for questionnaire also in Report Designer, and you can use all the benefits of adding new rows and columns and everything as you have it in Questionnaire Designer. Another thing here is that when you click on some element on your right hand side, you will have the settings for properties for the selected element. And the last thing here is tooltips. We have added tooltips for all properties, so now you can check what are there for and how to use it. There are links you can click which will lead you to our wiki, and there you can basically check all information that you need. Okay, now I will bring in poll. If you want to participate in it, I would be very happy if you do so. In this case, I will ask Edo to bring it in. So, what is this about? As you know, we are bringing lots of new features, and I would be happy if you would be interested in testing these features with us. So, first thing which we have here is option to create documents in Microsoft Dynamics. Then questionnaires within Power Apps, or that you are not interested at all. So please vote, and people who will join this, we will contact afterwards. Can give you a few more seconds. That's it. Thank you very much. We'll close this poll now. Okay. So results are very interesting. So thank you for that. So document creation in Microsoft Dynamics leads this poll with 46%. So thank you for that. And now I will ask Edo to take over and introduce us what they have in relation to platform and improvements on it. Thank you.
Peter, thank you very much for the really interesting news from the inspections. My name is Eduard Kesely. I am a head of product in Resco, and today I will tell you something more about the improvements what we have made for the platform and platform components. So let's start. I will start with the schedule board. Firstly, let's take a look at it, and I will start with the customer problems. So, because every single feature what is being developed needs to have some rationale behind it, why it is being developed, and must address some kind of problem. So, during the last year, we had several occasions when prospects wanted to have a solution which can address, let's say, like urgent cases. For example, the customers have problem with they need to schedule technicians ASAP because there has been some kind of machine breakdown, for example. We, as you might remember, we already developed some more advanced filtering on the schedule board and wanted to elevate the user experience and how people are using this. So we have the filtering mode already, but what we did, we added there some more functionality. This filtering mode for the schedule board can be configured in the Woodford. The administrator can select, for example, also to enable the live mode, as you can see on the print screen. Administrator also can select according to which conditions it need to be. The schedule board will filter the resources, and also can select kind of criteria for sorting, such as soonest availability or travel distance or some workload of the resource. To complete this feature, we also are bringing some more distinguished, look and feel how it will be interpreted in the schedule board, as you can see. And we brought the new live mode indicator bar on the schedule board. But let me show you how does it look like. I have really short video so we can walk through simple scenario of scheduling and how you can enable this filtering or live mode filtering. So basically, what you can see on the screen, on the left side, you can see the resources or technicians. On the right side, you can see work or sources. In this case, it can be a work order or incident. And you can select the work order. What it will do, the system will filter out only the eligible resources according to the criteria what we have selected. For example, it can be territory, it can be skill set, or some utilization. If the company is also having or tracking the resources and they have the GPS monitoring on, you can really easily click on the live button, which will bring up this live mode. It's really visually distinguished, that everybody understands that this is the live mode, and the system can also get the data from the mobile device of the technicians, for example. The schedule manager can also configure, for example, on the bar, how far the resource should be, and hide also only the resources who are over some kind of distance. So in this case, the system has filtered out all those resources who are not eligible to be eligible for this work, and only one resource is there. So I, as a schedule manager, I can right now directly schedule the proper work to the resource. Okay, so the next add-on or addition to the schedule board is like very simple. It's really small but requested feature which improves the usability of the Resco schedule board. And it's another option how scheduling manager can change the duration of the schedule or of the booking, simply by click and extending of the schedule on the board directly. Let me show you on the video. So this is a schedule board, and after you can really easily by single moving of the mouse, as you are familiar with, for example, the similar functionality in Outlook, you can extend or shorten the duration of the schedule. Okay, another functionalities what we have added or another improvements are related to the tree view, and there are several ones. We are also trying to solve problems like I do not want to see all nodes in the tree view. I need to see only the parent nodes easily. You can really imagine that you can have amazing or really complex tree view or tree structure or hierarchy structure, and you do not need to or you do not want to see all those kind of nodes or levels at the same time. So what we did, we are bringing really like one-click solution or one-click button, which is called Collapse All in the tree view. And as you can see on the really small animation, that you can see a tree structure or tree view, but by clicking on the single button, everything will collapse. And you will also see only the parent nodes. Right now, this is a hard-coded solution. We are thinking also to make it configurable, to hide or show this button. Another functionality or another improvement is related to creating the records in the tree view. As you can remember, right now it has been possible to create the records directly in the tree view. What we did, we made it configurable. So if some company do not want to allow of creating the new records directly from the tree view, it's not needed. It can be easily configured in the Wood Fort and for every single level of the tree view. And also what it does, we also implemented some logic that the application is also checking the permissions of the app users, and if the user is lacking those permissions, he or she is not seeing this button as well. We also did some improvements related to the performance. We are bringing lazy rendering or asynchronous rendering of items. We also are bringing the lazy row script evaluation, which is basically delaying of the evaluation of an expression until the value is needed. This improvement should really be working well and fast for the tree structures or tree views up to 10,000 items. There are still no paging yet. This is still for not very huge tree structures, but for this purpose it should be pretty well working up to 10,000. Another functionality is related to the styles. It's called replacing of the styles in a views and forms. So what we did, every single admin need to have some kind of good overview of the styles which are being used and where they are being used. And the problem was there was no easy way or not possible way to replace the style easily and to see the other dependencies for forms and views. So what we did, that we are also introducing the new functionality which is called Style Replace within the style editor. As you can see on the print screen or the picture, if you are in the entity and you click on the style editor and you select some style you would like to replace, as a bonus it will also show you the dependencies where else this style is being used, and you can easily, by the drop down list, you can select the new style you would like to select. Other platform improvements, I can mention two of them. One of them is called private views on all devices, and basically what are private views in Resco? Private views are personal or custom views created by application user. Until now, they have been stored on the user device, but with this release, it's also possible that they will be saved in the cloud. So the user, when he or she will be switching the device or using different device with the credentials, the views can be transferred as well. Another really nice feature is regarding to the licenses management. And basically it brings better management of the licenses if you are working with a lot of them. You can export and import users and licenses in the Woodford. You can also use this feature, for example, to back up your licenses, to transfer them to another environment, or to bulk upload the new licenses. So basically that was it when it comes to the improvements related to the platform. And right now I would like to welcome Michal to tell us something more and some news related to the Resco Guides and Resco Cloud. Thank you for now.
Yeah, hi everyone, thank you Edo. And yes, two last remaining parts, Resco Guides and Resco Cloud, will be covered by me. So let's take a look on what the heck we delivered in the last quarter. In the guides, we delivered a functionality of import and export, which is obviously a requested feature because we are starting with this project. And we want to allow our users, customers, partners, everybody included, to have access and tools for bringing more content in our application. So that's the reason why we started with a simple import and export of the XML files, which allows you to use this XML, like importing and exporting from organization to an organization, or you can use this XML file as a template of creating new guides which you would like to import from other system. And obviously where you can find this feature is in the Knowledge Manager in an application where there is a functionality of export and import. Soon in the next release, which is upcoming, in a couple of weeks, we delivered also a bulk feature to make this import and export more robust. So it will allow you to make it like a couple of exports and imports at once. Well, fine. The media library enhancements, because guides are mostly about not only about text, but also about images, videos, and this kind of stuff. We are constantly enhancing the experience of working with the multimedia. So obviously we delivered functions to clean up unused media, really similar like WordPress does a couple of years ago, but it is thing which works and the usability is pretty straightforward. So if you would like to check if everything works regarding the content which you have in the guides, then you can take a look in the media library and you will see which images are used, unused, and you can make a cleanup if you used all images which you wanted to use in the guides and so on. Okay, the next one, the guide stats or statistics. This feature we delivered based on requests from you guys because we know that if you are making hundreds of guides, it's really nice to bring them to the people in the field, but it's also better to know if the people in the field, they use them. So we started with a small feature, which is like one icon and number, but this number tells you how many times this guide was opened. So you know if this guide is useful, if people use it, how many times it was opened. And many other features regarding the statistics are already included in the last release. And the data will be represented and visualized in the next release. So you will be able to see much more details about how people in the field use the guides. Just a small sneak peek, there will be stats about which users, what is the mostly used guide, how much time people spend by working with the guide, so that you will see some insights about how the guides are used, and based on these insights you will be able to adjust and add more content into the guides based on the feedback, which is not like feedback which people should fill some form or something like that, but it's like implicitly a part of their work process, and it will be automatically saved and also shown in the statistics in the dashboard, which will be in the next release. Well, fine. Small thing is high images, which will be automatically adjusted if you want to. And this is the feature which was also requested by you, and you're able to find this auto high feature directly in Knowledge Manager application. So when you upload some pictures and you would like to make them automatically fit the width of the screen, it will be done automatically, and you don't need to go to pitch to zoom or do this kind of actions, and it will be fully fitted to the size of the screen. Multiple images. Yes, in the first version of our guides, we had only one image per step. It was not enough, and we realized that if the step is describing more complex process, then it's needed to have a couple of more pictures as a part of one step. So in the editor of the guide, you are able to select more pictures. If you select the video, it's only possible to select the one. But if you would like to add more pictures and PDF documents, it's possible to connect them with one step in the guide. And there will be something like a gallery view if you would like to go through the images as a part of one step. Rich text editor, yeah, that's another thing which we delivered. And in the previous releases, you had only chance to write the plain text, which is boring. So we add a rich text editor to make it colorful. So you are able to create, for example, rainbow text you would like. So colors are part of the description. You can add more links. So there will be the underscore of the text, so you know that there is a link as a part of the description in a step. You are able to make various H1, H2, and all this kind of stuff from HTML. And another thing is the structure of text, so you can make the paragraphs, numbering, bullet points, and all this kind of a magic stuff. A couple of things, like a sneak peek of another release. So as I said, there will be advanced statistics of the guides usage, which are already collecting the data in existing release. There will be super feature, which is the repro problem directly within the guide, particularly on the step. So you're able to, you're in the field and you just realize that there is something missing in the guide, that there is some pitfall or issue, which you recognize. You're able on one click, on one tab on your device, take a picture and said, okay, this is not good, you did a mistake, you're just saying something what is not correct, and you're able to give an instant feedback on what is part of the guide. And the person who is responsible of the fixing of the thing will get a message, notification, email that something is wrong in the guide, and you're able to fix it instantly and accept the requested change. Another thing, issues management of the guides. So it's a part of these live comments to have something like a management tool of all these requests, of the changes. Bulk export and import, as I said, it's boring to do it one by one, so there will be a bulk feature. And still, we have a pilot program of the guides, and we will announce more details soon regarding this topic, because still the guides is the new project for us, and we are still enhancing it, and we want to make the process more bootstrappy. That's the reason why we are still working with our partners to give an instant feedback on what we are doing and bring the features which are valuable for our partners and customers. So that's the reason why we are still working with our partners in the pilot program. Ta-da! Resco Cloud. So let's go to the cloud, the last part of this session before we jump into the Q&A section. And this is another episode of the migration topic. By the way, the last one. The last thing we did in the migration is the migration of the Salesforce in the last release, and the Salesforce features and the offline capability couldn't work without Resco Cloud backend. So that's the reason why we also migrated the Resco Cloud backend from AWS S3 to Microsoft Azure. So tada, everything is migrated to Microsoft Azure, and we have like 0 things on Amazon AWS. So we finished this long story but it's a happy end. So all our services are migrated to Microsoft Azure, and soon, and already we are working on other features which are connected with the infrastructure enhancements and tools provided by Microsoft. So we will bring more features regarding the infrastructure, monitoring, speed up, all this kind of stuff, which is a part of the Microsoft Azure infrastructure in next releases. One of those is the Cosmos database, which is called really quickly accessible index data, which you are using in the functionality of history and log files. So in this release, we bring this functionality that you are able to log all history, changes, and actions did what happened in the backend are automatically logged into the Cosmos database, which is something like Elasticsearch by Microsoft. So you're able to make proprietary SQL requests on the Cosmos database to get an instant information about the changes. You're able to find the data much more quicker than in usual SQL database. And all these benefits when you use the Elastic searching is also provided in Cosmos database. And for each organization, we are doing something like a container for a history and audit. So all in all, in the business words, you are able to search in the history of changes and history of creating new data in the database much more quicker and more elastically. And also we bring the SharePoint integration, not the SharePoint integration which is let's say on the user level, but on the database level. So in the past we did a couple of enhancements of external blob storage, because yes, we stored a couple of things as base 64 in the database, which is not ideal, obviously. So that's the reason why we bring a couple of ways, and you can decide which is the best one for you. So you can choose if it will be Microsoft Azure storage, or it will be SharePoint. So we will bring the OneDrive feature, but all this data can be exported from the base 64 from database to external blob storage, and to have only the link of the data in the database, so the loading will be much more quicker and the database will lose a couple of kilograms or megabytes. So that's another thing on the infrastructure level we delivered. And yes, we are approaching Q&A section, so I will bring my word back to Edo and we will go through the questions now.
Hi, thank you for this question, and yes, it works with Salesforce as well. I believe we support all field types that are there. We are working on improvements of Questionnaire Designer and making more user-friendly. And we are also reviewing this feature. Yes, we are already working on this feature as well.
Yeah, we would like to release it in the following releases. Also this option to create, not only to update. Okay, so I think that we can conclude today's webinar. And I would like to thank my colleagues, Michal and Peter, for attending and presenting on this webinar. And I would also like to thank you for your attention, and really excited and looking forward for the next webinars during this year. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.